Hey, Vern.
Hey guys, Vern Danke. Alright, so we're just going for a little jungle walk today. Today's vlog is about something I discovered when I first moved to Dumaguete. The patience of the Filipino. Now, granted, it's not every Filipino is going to be super patient, but for the most part, some of the patience here is quite awesome. Now, when I first moved here, I was in Dumaguete, and one thing that I noticed when I was riding one of the trikes through town was how patient the people were when things were frustrating or chaotic. They didn't seem to flinch much. Now, the driver that I was with had someone pull right in front of him, and I would have been like, hey, get the hell off my road, blah, blah, blah. I would have reacted really quickly. And the only thing that I seen from this driver as a reaction was one of his eyes went up a little bit, and I looked over at him, and he just diffused everything. It just went away. And that is typical of how people handle most of the situations here. Back in the US, we're taught to be somewhat open, to be expressive, to say how we feel. If you're mad, get it out. If you're happy, get it out. Don't let these things build up inside and form a pressure cooker work and just blow off, right? Here, they're taught to not have what's called a crab mentality, to not be crabby. Now, are they all that way? No, but I would say the majority are. Stable-minded, not upset, very patient, very loving, very kind. And it's not that Americans are not that way, but when they come here, and even people from the UK or Australia, and probably other parts, they're more reactionary, and the people here aren't ready for those reactions, those knee-jerk feelings to just come flying out. But it's not in their culture to be that way, so it's seen as a negative if somebody's complaining. When I find that I'm complaining to somebody, I'll get this blank stare, and they won't react to my feelings. They won't become a part of my topic or my argument. They'll just kind of give me that look, and after a while I realize that I'm not being pacified. I'm not having somebody to really push those feelings on and off of. So I tend to not argue as much because I know I'm not going to get the pity party or the connection that I need to get that release complete. So how do we find a happy medium ground where we're not too reactionary, but we're not too passive, that we let things that shouldn't happen. And that's kind of the hard thing. How do you find that medium ground where both are happy? Back home, it's gotten so extreme that people are extremely aggressive, especially when you're driving down the road. I went back to Oregon 3 years ago, and I got in my Jeep and I'm cruising down the highway, and I got in the groove and in the mode of everybody else. I'm running faster than the speed limit, and I'm just flying, and I'm thinking, get out of my way. And I had no place to be. I wasn't late for work. I didn't have an appointment that I had to be at. I just was in that mode of aggressiveness. And even when I would watch the news, I would get so much anxiety because the news would just be so negative. And everything was so pulling at my emotions daily in a negative way. And I didn't realize how much it affected me until I left. When I see how unreactionary the people are here, it makes me think how aggressive and reactionary I was. And that's something to really consider. That's something to really consider. And when you can live in a more peaceful environment, it's a lot easier. I can see why people are laid back here and they're relaxed, because they don't have all that pressure of people riding your butt. Here it's mostly self-policing, and I really love that. I love that more than anything else. And it's not perfect, right? People don't follow a lot of the laws, but they have a freedom that I've never known before. a freedom that used to exist in the United States before everything got so regulated. You didn't have all the laws back in the 1900s. You could do quite a bit of things, and people were friendly. And once all the laws came into effect and everybody had to be perfect and be a certain way, things changed. Things really changed. Society broke apart. People became who they weren't normally, naturally. And that changed things. They told people, well, you need to be this way even though you're this way. And you need to accept this even though you really accept that. And I see these things and I can compare them being outside. When you're not outside, it's hard to experience that. So it's interesting, the differences between the cultures, between the people. And it's those differences that make life interesting. It's those differences that make it a really big treat for me to be here. And that's what I find so amazing. I learn a lot and I grow a lot in this journey of life. And had I settled for what I had, I fear I may not have grown as much as I have. We're taught to want certain things in life: the house, the cars, the family. But we're not taught how to find ourselves. We're not taught how to get out into the community and become a part of that. We're not taught how to laugh, how to find joy. And I think most of all, we're not taught how to love each other. So that's my thoughts today, as I take my little walk through the jungle. See the people as they stare at me, the strange foreigner, and wonder what the heck he's doing here. And that's something I also have to discover. What is he doing here? So there's my trusty steed. Without it, I'd be lost. I'd be doing a lot of walking. It's been a really good bike.